Hey, everyone. Ooh, good to see everyone. Man, it has been a interesting past couple of weeks. So much stuff going on. Wow, good to see everyone. Hi, I am JL, and welcome to my live stream, part of Bridge the Divide, my personal channel. So it's good to see everyone. So many people in the chat tonight. Let's take a look and say hi to everybody. I see I have some questions there already, but I want to make sure I say hi to everyone. Okay, up at the top, I see Nimrod is in the house. Is chat publicly as Nimrod. Yes, Nimrod, good to see you. Marcus Dresden is in the house. Says flatards suck. Yes, flatards do suck. Chris Durham Music Channel is in the house. Says need to make a video. Got to stop procrastinating. I might only be here in spirit. Aw, because we do appreciate the ghosts here at Bridge the Divide. So good to see you, Chris Durham. Yes, definitely. I want to see that video. Get that video done so we can all check it out. I'm sure it will be amazing. And Fred Knotts is in the house. Good to see you. Says, I'm here for some sanity. Wrong place? Hopefully the right place. But we will be talking about some crazy things because there's some crazy stuff out there. As you saw by the thumbnail, there's a couple of topics that we're going to talk about. Boomer, good to see you. I just saw him over in Discord. Good to see you, Boomer. Clive Wells, yes, as always, with the spiritual energy. Good to see you, Clive Wells. And I see Thor Rasmussen in the house. Good to see you. Thor Rasmussen says, good evening, morning. And Suit Kettle says, hey, good to see you. God, a bunch of people. And Frixos28. Oh, a bunch of new names I'm seeing. Or though they might be different names, but some names I'm seeing for the first time. So good to see you, Frixos28. And Omni Oros Boros is in the house. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Says hello. Fred Knotts. Says JL. Hey, what's up, Fred Knotts? I saw somebody had a question real quick, and I think it was about what the music was. So the music for that little intro piece, which I love, just the energy of that music. I pulled it off of Epidemic Sound, and I essentially was just going through energetic, fun. I guess it was like uplifting music, and because my Irish heritage, really enjoyed that one, and I just it was like, oh, this totally fits to get people fired up for the show. And I loved it so much. So I know I pulled it off of Epidemic Sound. So that's where I got that. I did actually. I wonder if I've got the name of it here real quick. Let me see. I have the file. It's called Barefoot Adventures. Barefoot Adventures. And you can get that off of Epidemic Sound. So with a subscription to them, you can use their music anytime you want. And as long as you have, and what's really cool about Epidemic Sound, for those who don't know, what's really cool about them is that any music you use from their library for your streams or your videos, you have the rights to them as long as you had a valid subscription when you pulled them. So even if your subscription lapses, then the music you had at the time that you made, you can still they won't try to shut you down for using that. You use it, you had a valid subscription, you used it then, and those videos are all safe. So it's only new stuff that they look at. So I think that's really cool for something cool that Epidemic does. So if you are looking to make content, Epidemic Sound, excellent choice. Check them out. Let me see who. Make sure I didn't miss nobody. And so many names. And yes, if there were like 1,000 people in the chat, I'd probably still try to say hello to everyone. That was Frixos' question. But yep, Epidemic Sound. That's where you want to go. And I think that's epidemicsound.com. Is where that website's at. Let me see. And Marcus Dresden's in the house. What's up? Good to see you. Zachariah Hooper, good to see you as well. Says, hey, JL. D. Elwood's in the house. Good to see you. Logical Hillbilly, what's up? And several members of the Godless Army. So D. Elwood, Logical Hillbilly, and of course, I think, Thor Rasmussen and Boomer. And you can become a member of the Godless Army as well. Because, channel memberships, I finally got monetized, which is pretty badass. And started setting up did the whole emojis and badges and everything. And it's 99 cents a month. 99 cents a month to be a member of the Godless Army, get and have all the cool emojis that I have made for y'all. I love making those emojis. They're a lot of fun and kind of silly. But you got cool stuff like Flying Spaghetti Monster, Darth Dawkins with red duct tape over his face, Crying Otangelo, Donut Earth, Dr. Peel. I made a Dr. Peel emoji solely for Matt Powell, and a bunch of other cool, just fun, goofy stuff. And then, so you can enjoy those if you are a member of the Godless Army, which you can be. So, and it's 99 cents a month. I don't think I'm ever going to increase it because it's pretty much it's pretty much how much I value my content. So enjoy those if you are a member. But of course, just having you be here hanging out with me is absolutely amazing. So thank you so much to all the people that are with me. And yes, Logical Hillbilly, it's a really cool Celtic vibe, which is why I love that. I love it so much. Yes, Nimrod. The day does find me well. Unfortunately, my dog Jingles is a little bit of an update. He's kind of having good days and bad days. That's what it is when it comes to chronic kidney failure, because he's getting old. He's an older German Shepherd, and we've got him on a specialized diet. But what are you gonna? It's just not say it's degenerative. So he's got his good days and his bad days. Good days when he acts like there's nothing wrong with him. He's got energy. He's running around. He's playing in the backyard with me. Some days, his stomach is just bugging him just because of the buildup of ammonia and other crap that his kidneys aren't filtering out, and it makes him sick to his stomach, and he kind of vomits a bit. So then we have to give him the antiemetics and maybe a little Pepto-Bismol to ease it. And of course, he's got acid reflux, so we got to watch that. It's just crazy, but he's hanging in there. He's a big, strong dog, and so we'll keep taking care of him as long as we can, as long as he's comfortable. But, he's having kind of a rough day today. But, hopefully he'll bounce as he has in the past. He'll just bounce kind of back and forth. I'm just trying to make him comfortable and keep him happy. All right. See, Peter Noddle's in the house. Good to see you, Peter Noddle. Says, good day to you. And Colin's in the house. Says, what's up, JL? Good to see you, Colin. And I think I just saw, STST, Speak Truth. Oh, wow. Speak to Seek Truth. Thank you good to see you. Thank you so much. I think it's the first of my streams I've seen him in. That's awesome. Brian Bowden says, evening, sane, rational folks. Yes, nothing but sane, rational folks here. Turing Test 2 is in the house. Good to see you. Clyde Wells trying to summon Otangelo with the Otangelo. We'll see if that happens. I doubt he'll come around. DeLong Hair, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. And Basic Trigonometry. Awesome. Good to see you. Sexiest name on the internet there. And just look at that. Streaming Cup of Reason has become a member of the Godless Army. Thank you so much, Streaming Cup of Reason. Score. I have scored with Score. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. So thank you. Enjoy the new emojis, all the cool emojis that I have made for you, and of course your new badge. So I appreciate you joining the Godless Army there and helping to support the channel here. So thank you all so much. Ryan and Nance is in the house. Good to see you. Oh man, amazing people here. So looking at this is true, Nimrod. We don't deserve pets. And, dogs are amazing. And especially I love my dogs. Oh, second best Bob. Good to see you. Another member of the Godless Army. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. And, Nimrod says we don't deserve pets, and we just don't, because dogs are amazing. That's what they are. I love my dogs, my two German Shepherds, Shotzi and Jingles, and we found them as strays on the street. And we're able to give them good homes. But yeah, they're amazing animals, and we just don't deserve them. We just don't. And Fritza says, I had a German Shepherd. She had fibrosis and arthritis when she died. Oh, that sucks. It's awful. And I think, it's one of those things. It's so hard because you get a pet, no matter what it is. It was a cat, bird. I know some guys who like some people who have fish and they just love them. And they have relationships with their fish. Their fish will come up in their hands and everything. It doesn't matter what your pet is. There's a bond there, and they teach us to look at the world in a different way, and in a very simplistic way, uncomplicated. And we form those bonds. We attach to them. They teach us how to love and how to care in a different respect than human to human. And they teach us, that unconditional respect and love that we have for each other in that bond. Dogs, especially dogs, they're heck, it was 12,000 years of domestication. We took our greatest competitor and turned him into our greatest ally. The symbiotic relationship we have between canines, us and canines, and they're just absolutely amazing. Doesn't matter what kind of dog you have, they're all amazing, every single one of them. And we just don't. People who treat them like tools, I understand that dogs do, they do serve purposes. They're working dogs, military dogs, police dogs, or service animals. They do have jobs. They can have jobs, but they don't necessarily have to have jobs. They can just be part of the family, and they can protect the home. They can provide companionship, and we just don't deserve them. We need people, as a species, we need to treat them better, because I think in a lot of ways they're better than we are. But it's one of those things, they're not going to live as long as you. And that's what sucks. It's painful in that respect. It's not going to last forever, but you try to give them the best. And then of course, once you've internalized it and you're able to you've grieved, the next animal you bring into your home, the next animal that becomes a member of your family, you can bestow upon them what the previous pet taught them. And then you have the memories there and everything that they taught you, and you can make the next pet's life. Because remember, saving one dog or saving one animal is not going to save the world. It's not going to change the world. But for that one animal, the world changes forever. So absolutely. So yeah. And I'm so good. It's so nice to see so much pet, there's so many people out there that have furry family members, fur babies, and we love them so much. So, second best Bob, thank you so much for the super chat. 5 pounds says, I lost my German Shepherd 2 years ago. She was only 11, but couldn't walk. Still miss her. Yeah, they leave a hole. They leave a hole in your heart. They do. But, we can carry on, and we can each one that we have, we can make their lives better, and they can make our lives better and teach us new things. I absolutely adore them. Nimrod says, I don't know what I'd do without my cat. She has saved my life and made me get out of bed on my darkest and worst days that I've been through. They just have the ability to do that. They just have that capacity. Absolutely amazing. John Rapp, John Rapp, good to see you. Says, Enlim, Yurag. No, I see what you're doing. It worked for Rumpelstiltskin. That's funny. Darth Dawkins, Gary Milne in reverse. That's hilarious. Okay, what was this? Frixos. The very next day, I swear to a non-specific deity, there was a cloud the shape of a dog chasing a ball. Aw, that's nice. And Martin H, good to see you. Says, genius is never fully appreciated until it's too late, Clive Wells. And I can remind you that Lennon correctly pointed out that genius is a pain, which certainly applies to my client. Yeah, it can be. I don't have that problem of genius being a pain, but I can understand how it could be. Vestia Freya, good to see you. Says, sorry to hear about your dog. It's tough when they get older. I miss my dog. She was Vizsla. Lost her at the age of 15 years and 4 months. Springtime, hope to be getting a puppy. Oh, that's good. That's good. And then the adventures you're going to have with that new puppy is going to be amazing. Your dog streams are amazing. Yes, they are. Yeah, we can talk about dogs all day long. Until Longhair says dogs worship you. Cats tolerate your existence. This is so true. So, and I see Pro Chinchilla's in the house. Good to see you, Pro Chinchilla. All right. So, what is this? Clive Will says, Martin H. Multi has been indicted by the International Criminal Court on Music in The Hague for his crimes against good taste. That's hilarious. Oh, and NANA, a member of the Godless Army, good to see you, says, just stopping by for a minute while working. Oh, all right. Good to see you, NANA. And John Rapp says, dogs are wonderful, but cats taste better. Ooh, that might be a different stream. So, but yes, thank you for all the well wishes for my dog Jingles. He's doing he's doing okay. He's hanging in there. Mystique, good to see you. Yes. Oh, I don't know if I could do the ASMR. Irish is really good at the ASMR, but I'm not me. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Tibor, good to see you. Says hi. All right. So, what do we got? So the topics I was going to talk about is one, the big thing. Nimrod sent me a Discord DM. Let me check and see what that is real quick. He said, "Oh, look at the kitty. Oh, look at the kitty cat. Oh, he's adorable. She. This is no, it's all. Oh, look at that sweetheart. Oh, I love pictures of pets. They're so adorable. So absolutely cute. Streaming Cup of Reason says every great dog deserves a great chew toy, and it's called a Darth Dawkins. Darth Dawkins squeaky toy. That's hilarious. Thank you very much, Frixos. Yeah, he has his up and down days. He is 8 years old. German Shepherds, they typically can, pretty much on average it's like 7 to 12 for German Shepherds, depending upon their genetics. And luckily, he doesn't have the hip dysplasia issue at all. So we don't have to worry about that. But, you know, his kidney is just not great. And the stress of the move from Texas to Oklahoma, new environment like that, we think kind of exacerbated it a bit. But you know, he's hanging in there. He's doing okay. He has his up days and down days. Omni Orosporo says, JL, you need glitter in your beard. I think it's just too much. I honestly couldn't go out in public with glitter in the beard. The pink is pushing it where I live. It really, really is. Thank you, Nimrod and Tashi. All right. So the topic that we were going to that I was going to bring up today, as you saw in the thumbnail, the first one was Michael Myers. You know, because everyone who's here knows I run a horror podcast, and me and my filmmaker friends, we dish about horror movies every single week called Week in Horror. The links are in the description. And then, of course, the new Halloween Kills just came out on the 15th of October. And so the first thing that we talked about was, and we talked about this on Week in Horror, was there was a change.org petition to try and get the massacre of the firefighters removed from the film. Absolutely silly. No one was. It was never going to happen. The movie's already in the can. It's already been distributed. There's no way that they were going to try and cut that whole thing. The scene is integral, so they were not going to cut the whole thing out. It's just stupid. So that was that was by this. But all of a sudden, I saw these memes. And hey, Mr. Andrad, good to see you. Says evening, everyone. Kind of lurking. That's okay. I can't think of anybody better I'd have lurking in my bushes. So this new picture that I came up, it was claiming that it's essentially, I'm just wondering if I could find the picture. And it was so silly. It came up in my Facebook feed. And I want to see if I can. Here we go. So I will pull this up. And I couldn't believe that that this had actually come up. This is so silly. So I'm still getting the hang of like bouncing in between sharing. So I can share this image with y'all. Share screen and boom. So looking at this, absolutely silly. And what this is, this is one of many posts. I've seen many varieties of this. Halloween's bone-chilling villain Michael Myers is homophobic in new film. A gruesome murder of a gay couple in Halloween Kills has resulted in some horror fans calling the villain Michael Myers homophobic. And I think I know what everybody's going to think. The initial reaction to this is it's absolutely silly. Now, if you have not seen Halloween Kills, I strongly recommend it. We did stream it in the Week in Horror Discord. Colin says, watch it this week, Jail. Did you see the fluorescent tube mix up the one he uses and then it's back on soon after? I did catch it. It was a lighting issue. I did see that. But it was so quick. I don't think it really didn't. I don't think it bugged. It didn't really bug me that much, but I did catch that. And that was such a gruesome death. That would suck. Stabbed to death with a broken fluorescent bulb. That's just gnarly as hell. Andrew says, careful, JL, I'm getting tired of stalking team. Hey, you can stalk me all day long. I'm a total whore for it. So this is just absolutely silly. So it's ridiculous. And a meme that I came across was absolutely, I think, was totally fitting regarding this. That essentially, I've seen a bunch of meme responses to it, but my thought was claiming or accusing Michael Myers, the character of Michael Myers, of being homophobic, is akin to accusing a great white shark of seal profiling. It's beyond silly. And the last I checked, going through and looking, with my knowledge of the franchise, those are the first two openly gay characters that Michael has ever killed. So of all the movies that have, in the franchise, of which there are 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is the 12th film in the Halloween franchise, the Michael Myers franchise. Technically 11th because Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. But yeah, it's absolutely silly. And I think this is the only openly gay couple that he killed in one of the movies. And of course, he kills everybody. So technically, he's killed more straight people than he has gay people. So technically it makes him anti-straight, and he just killed the LGBTQ couple by circumstances, the fact that they lived in his fucking house. They lived in the Myers house specifically. They bought it for that very reason. How silly is that? So yeah, people just sensitive. They want to, they want to fight over everything. It's absolutely goofy. It's just the goofiest shit ever. Let me see here. I see. Mr. Anderson says, "Oh, for fuck's sake." Second best Bob says, "I live in a boat, and rescue places don't want to let me have a dog, and I can't afford a puppy. I'll work it out." There you go, second best Bob, and a member of the Godless Army. Thank you so much for the support. Zachariah Hooper says, "This is so moronic. Mike Myers is a homicidal sociopath. He kills everyone, regardless of their gender and sexual orientation. This is true. He's an equal opportunity maniac. He kills everyone, regardless of national origin, race, gender, sexual orientation, or creed. Totally equal opportunity. I mean, it's one of the best equal opportunities that you'll get in the genre of horror, is being killed by Michael Myers, because it doesn't matter. He makes no judgments. No shaming there. In fact, it says notifications. What notifications? Good to see you, Facty. Thank you so much for joining. Basic Tricks says, Myers only killed gay people, or does he kill everybody? He kills everybody, even dogs. He even kills dogs. He killed and ate a dog. So yeah. Second best Bob says, "How can I see Nail Gun?" We do have the short available, and the director's version of the short, which is absolutely brilliant. I can show that again in the Week in Horror Discord. I can do when I do another stream. I can play that as kind of like an opening intro, and then before we watch a movie. So absolutely, you can definitely watch it. Just join the Week in Horror Discord. The link is in the description. I'll put out notifications before I show movies, and then you'll be able to check it out then. So we'll set that up. All right. And Zachariah Hooper says, basic trick, he kills everybody. Yep, he pretty much kills anyone in his path. Doesn't matter who they are. Just like, the firefighter scene, like he killed a bunch of firefighters, but then again, he's also killed a bunch of police officers as well. So it doesn't matter who he's killing. He kills everybody. Aaron Reese, good to see you. Says, hello, everyone. Excellent. And Tyler West says, I would think homophobia is the least of Michael Myers' problems. I wouldn't even think that Michael Myers is aware of the word. Like the concept doesn't even apply, doesn't even register. Of course, he doesn't talk to anybody. He doesn't care. So yeah, I wouldn't think that would there. And good to see you, Tyler West. And Mr. Anderson says, people looking to be outraged. That's exactly what it is. It's people's necessity, I guess this social need to be angry about something, something that they believe in or something that they support or something that they consider themselves a part of is not respected in some way. Like the whole firefighter massacre scene, which he kills like 11 firefighters. It was like 11 on 1, and he kills them all. So, which is a pretty gnarly scene. But yeah, it's like an 11 on 1 fight scene. He kills a whole bunch of firefighters, and he carries on. Then he kills an old couple that lives next door to Lori. That's her next door neighbors. So yeah, there was outrage over that. Someone said, well, I'm about to be a firefighter. I respect firefighters. I'm from a family of firefighters. This is not acceptable. It's like, you didn't hear about that all the cops that he's killed, all the police officers in those movies. You don't hear real police officers going, this is unacceptable. It's like, it's a fictional movie. Fictional characters. That's what they are. I mean, it's like kind of, the direction, just get over yourself. What's the point? We're supposed to be having fun. It's supposed to be fun. And it's supposed to be a scary movie, or it's just to give you a charge. I love the little Halloween 3 reference in there. The 3 people killed. They stuck their masks on: the witch, the skull, and the pumpkin. I thought that was brilliant. Just really great. Just really great shit. And I can't wait for the third one, which is coming out next year. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Yes, DeLong hair, equal opportunity serial killer. Absolutely. Myth Frixo says, JL, all these LGBT activists are pathetic. I'm aware. I can't spell tonight. I wouldn't even call them activists, because there are legitimate LGBTQ activists that fight for good causes, equal representation, in regards to the law, in regards to workplace safety, in regards to marriage rights, marriage equality. Those are good causes. People like this are essentially the fringe. They're like They're like hardcore fundamentalist Christians or hardcore fundamentalist Muslims. They're like the Westboro Baptist Church. They're just extremists who are looking to fight someone because, all they see is they themselves are most likely disenfranchised, and their disenfranchisement their sense of disenfranchisement fuels their anger. And they're looking to throw a punch at anyone who trespasses into what they consider to be their domain, anybody who strays out of their lane or, disrespects it in any way whatsoever. Any kind of, negative look or like side eye that you give them, any kind of negative representation, boom, they're going to come at you full bore because that's all they've got. They themselves, it's projection. It's all it is. They're projecting their own anger onto the situation in order to justify their rage. And then, of course, a lot of times you add in a little bit of, attention because they're disenfranchised. They don't feel like people pay attention to them. So this is how they get their attention. What are you going to do? It's kind of a staple of the internet these days and the anonymity that the internet provides people, unless you're someone like me and I throw like pretty much myself out there. So, because I'm a whore. And I will always be honest about that. We got the, it's okay for Excel. So we understood that. And Surf, Surf, good to see you. Says, oh, hi, Surf. Good to see you, bud. And also, yes, Omni Ouroboros. Michael Myers is a fictional character. Fictional characters. Am I getting through to you at all? Absolutely silly. If you can name that movie that I just quoted, you let me know. Yes, Omni, down with extremism. Absolutely. Manny Hangman's in the house. Good to see you, Manny Hangman. What's going on here? We are just talking about the fake outrage over Michael Myers daring to kill a gay couple in the new Halloween Kills. Absolutely silly. So we were just discussing that and the fake outrage that is coursing across the internet. First firefighters, or I guess this one guy was offended that firefighters were killed, so he wanted the firefighter scene removed from the movie. It's like, what? That ain't never going to happen. Especially when you start the thing. You start at the change.org petition like 2 weeks before the movie releases. Like that's not going to happen. I'm sorry. And then now, of course, he deigns to kill a gay couple. The gay couple that specifically bought and live in his old house. So yeah, it's like, if you bought the House of 1,000 Corpses compound, what's going to happen is going to happen. Robert Kaz says, would you want a fire department as dumb as the Haddonfield fire department? No, you wouldn't want one as dumb as them. And thankfully, Michael took care of that problem for you. Now I can hire all smart people in Haddonfield. Is that fucking dark? Was that too dark? It's fictional. It's a fictional town. It's a fictional series of characters. Yes, Clive Wells. Good. Your anger makes you more powerful. Yes, Palpatine over there. Zachariah Hooper says, in my town, we have gay pride group and certain members have told straight people to, and I quote, stay in their lane. I mean, I can understand the kind of, how they articulate their annoyance is sometimes cringe. But I get that sometimes they don't want, it's difficult to tell when straight people, thank you, Zachariah Hooper. Yes, it was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, fictional characters. The difficulty in that is sometimes you have people who, when straights speak up for gays, there are some members of the LGBTQ community that do not feel that because they don't share, they're not a part of the same community because they're not gay, because they're not lesbian, because they're not trans, because they're not bi, or, pan or poly or any, or asexual or whatever, because they don't live in that world, that they don't really have a right to say anything. When the reality is we need all the allies that we can get. So attacking straights that want to ally with you to support your cause, shoot yourself in the foot. The same with the civil rights movement in the South. There were many, many white people that wanted to, that helped out, that contributed to that cause, to push that need for equal representation, for equal rights in the eyes of the law. There were many white people that assisted with that. And Bernie Sanders was one of them. And the whole point being, and I'm probably getting in trouble for mentioning Bernie Sanders on this stream, even though I didn't vote for Bernie, or I probably wasn't going to vote for Bernie. But when it comes down to it, there were white people that helped out. But there are some African Americans that don't feel whites have a right to say anything because essentially in their eyes, whites created the problem. Then they shouldn't. It's kind of like it undermines the message. You need the allies. You need all the allies to get your job done, to get your goals. You need all the allies you can get. Trying to fight it by yourself is not the best way to be successful. And so embrace the allies that you have, because those are people you don't have to convince. They already know. You don't have to convince them of anything. So yeah, the activists that want to shout at people, stay in your lane, shout at straight people to stay in your lane. We don't need your help like this. No, we do need their help. We need everybody's help. Everybody needs everybody's help. That's the point, is that the more people you have fighting in one direction, the better your odds of success will be. Million Man March. That's how that happens. And it was not just a million black people in that. There were white people in there as well. I think it was pretty much represented across the board. Same with Gay Pride. You push, and everybody is involved who supports that. So everybody needs allies if they're going to take on a fight. Yes, Jack Burton. It was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and many hangman says let people bitch. Yeah, don't give them the attention they want. It's true. We pointed out so that we can laugh at it, or we can say this is absolutely silly or whatever. But it's good to be aware of it. If we just ignore it, if we just flatly ignore it and we turn our backs, it will proliferate. Essentially, you start encroaching on the line of when good people do nothing. The indifference of good people, the indifference of people who know better. That's a very, very dangerous territory. And like Boondock Saints, the indifference of good men. Or if you want to go Star Trek TNG, vigilance is the price we pay for our freedoms. We have to stay vigilant. Otherwise, if we just ignore these things, they will flourish. And that's how this happens. So we have to stay on top of it. Flat Derp is in the house. Good to see you, Flat Derp. Thank you so much for joining. And, of course, Robert Caslow says the Cockknocker was Hamill's greatest character. Cockknocker. Look, kids, it's Mark Hamill. Good stuff. Oh, Plothole says family time at JL. He's lurking. Good. That's good to go. I gave Plothole an invitation to come on the show if he wanted to chat. I know he's got some opinions about some of these things, but I thought it would have been a lot of fun to have him on and get his opinion on people hating on Michael for killing some gay folks. And I say that being a member of the LGBTQ community myself, I didn't even register. I just saw motherfuckers getting smote, and it was hilarious. It was just awesome to me. It was like, why would you go after Michael Myers with a fucking paring knife? You live in his house. You're familiar with the legend. Why would you pick up like a paring knife and go after this cat? It was like, nah, it was just dumb. Just silly. And then, of course, Big John. And then Little John is like, oh, I've got the big knife. Oh, I'm going to talk to you. No, don't talk to you. Run. He's not even looking at you. He's looking at the window. Run. No, he doesn't run inside, sit and talk to Michael Myers and then pays the price for that. It's crazy. Michael Andrade says, Michael's not bad. He's just written that way. Very true. This is true. You could say he's an eco. He's a big, he's really eco-friendly because he's removing carbon from the atmosphere. J.O. Nimrod says, I think Mick is killing everybody because they aren't vegan. That's funny. Robert Caslow, character, only problem with the guy couple was their choice of weapons when taking on Mikey. Yeah, that was dumb. That was stupid. And separating. One staying downstairs, one going upstairs. That was just silly. Not having each other's back and allowing Michael to get the jump on Big John. That was just dumb. That was just silly. Manny Hangman says, I like that you're born LGBTQ plus and religious folks deny that and claim it's the devil tainting you. It's silly. It's it's what they've got because the fear, because people who are straight are not afraid of these things. It's the people it's when people have to acknowledge, that people are born gay, that this is who you are. You are gay, you are straight, you are bi, you are trans, you're lesbian, whatever. These people, when you accept that and you accept this as a part of the situation, they themselves have some individuals, not all, but some individuals have to accept that they themselves are gay or lesbian. They are essentially queer, and it's not going to change. Nothing they do will change it. No amount of prayer, no amount of praying the gay away, no amount of conversion therapy, none of it will work. They are gay, and they can't stop it, and they fear that if they accept that it's a part of them, that it's who they are, that is who they were, and it's not just feelings that they have, if they accept that, then they essentially feel like they're condemning themselves. They've condemned themselves to hell because they're not fighting against these impulses. They're not impulses, dude, or lady, or whoever. They're you. They're who you are. And there is a great, colorful community ready to accept you the moment you are ready to accept yourself. I know, because the moment I was ready to accept myself, they embraced me. Ugly old me, bald-headed, bear-looking fool, embraced me wholeheartedly the moment I embraced myself. That's the whole point. Always remember, for those having difficulty with this, if you happen to watch this later on in the future, if you're having difficulty with this, there are people you can talk to. There are allies that you have all around you. There's a community waiting to accept you and to help you down the path of accepting yourself. I had very very understanding boyfriends that assisted me. One in particular that helped me with accepting who I was, because my father was religious and kind of fundamentalist, raised by a fundamentalist mother, military raised guy. Men are men, and that's what men are. And and here I am bi. My first real sexual encounters were with a boyfriend, and it's just, what are you going to do? Because, I didn't really think, because girls didn't really like me that much. I was a fat kid, and, I wasn't really popular. I was kind of introverted, and, I was always in my head instead of like being out, being outgoing. But yeah. And that was the whole point. It was who I was. If my father found out, he probably would have ended me. Luckily, I had my mother. My mother understood. My mother knew. She embraced it, and she helped me through it. And she had my back. And then I had some very understanding boyfriends along the way who helped me accept this part of myself and just. It's not a matter of being proud of who you are. It's just a matter of accepting who you are. This is just who I am. JL is still the same. It's just this. Just I'm this, and I'm also this as well. So, and representing that where necessary, because we need all the representation we can get. Let me see. Aaron Reese is protesting something illegitimate also damages the legitimacy of the cause. Very true. This is very true. Absolutely. And is this jail trying to reach out to Mike Pence? If only. Oh, Lord, Mike Pence. Wow. There's a milk drinking, potato eating mother calling, I think we'll just leave it right there. I don't want someone, getting... I don't want someone getting mad at me, but yeah, that guy has some things about himself he has not yet accepted, that he's got feelings he ain't ready to deal with yet. One day, maybe he will. Oh, let me see here. And Blofeld 20K, good to see you. Says exactly. Yep. Zachary Hooper says, I feel the burn. Bernie was good. My problem with Bernie was that he was just too old. That was my issue with Bernie Sanders. I liked that's why I was a big Yang supporter. I was Yang Gang all the way. And I supported Bernie. I liked Bernie, but I wasn't going to vote for Bernie because the odds were that Bernie was probably going to die in office, and that's bad. So I didn't want somebody sneaking in on just sneaking into the office just because Bernie happened to pass away, and then just totally, because Bernie was dead, just going to like revamp all of his shit. So that's what my concern was, that the stress of the office could have killed him. Which we've seen it do. The stress of it just wreaks havoc on your body. And he's old. He's really old. He's a spider monkey, but he's still old. He's old as fuck. So I wanted to give to the young guy, Yang. Stephen Caparini says, jail. All those folks who were complaining about Michael Myers killing cops and firefighters would be the loudest among the cheering crowd if Michael Myers took out the entire White House. This is true. This is probably true. DeLonghier says, no one gets to dictate what anyone else wants to speak about in a free society. Very true. In a free society. But freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences, because there is the difference between speaking your mind and freedom of speech and freedom of the press, and, of course, doing damage with your words, especially if you are intentionally doing damage, such as slander, defamation, or inciting incendiary remarks, like shouting fire in a crowded theater. You're not protected. There are limitations, but we essentially do have freedom of speech. I just don't want someone to be like, why is he defaming Mike Pence? And then all of a sudden I get all these complaints, all these like copyright strikes and shit, or DMCA stuff. I don't want to deal with it. I haven't had to deal with it yet. Fingers crossed. But I'm prepared in case it does happen. Frickson says, please untwist your headphone cable. My OCD is going bananas. I can't stop looking at it. Man. Oh shit. Is it twisted? It's like that. I don't know if I can fix it. I'm sorry. Yeah, it feels. I don't know if I can fix it. Maybe I can. Well, hang on a sec. Let me see. Yeah, dude, I don't know if I can fix that. It's just, it's kind of old and it just kind of curled like that, as to what to do. Maybe if I. No, that's even worse. And I don't have the wireless ones, unfortunately. So I apologize. Yeah, it kind of looks like like beads. I am sorry about that. My apologies. Mr. Andrews says, PC in movies. I saw a made-for-TV where a hero had to run from a bear after he put out the campfire. I laughed so hard. It's hilarious. Robert Castle says, the numpties complaining about the cops getting killed by Mikey haven't watched Halloween 4 and 5. Exactly. Yep. And Omnivorous Bros, I have not seen the new Dune yet. The very small town that I live in, there is not a lot of, there's no access to a major theater here. I have to go into the nearest town, which is like an hour away. So I got to choose when I want to go, because an hour drive to go see a 2.5 to 3 hour film or more, and then an hour drive back, that requires planning where I live. So yeah, I will eventually. Commander Darklight, good to see you, and member of the Godless Army. Do appreciate you coming out. And yeah, Blowfell 20K, it is out. So Aaron Reese says, you put out the fire so Smokey won't be waiting for you on the other side. Very true. Very, very true. Oh, let's see. Frixo says, the episode of Star Trek TNG episode, The Drumhead, was a good insight into modern day witch hunts. Yes, it was. It was. I was just talking about that episode with another person, with the first link, The Chain is Forged. Tony Regime, good to see you. Thank you for coming out. Manny Hangman says, oh boy, a gay couple. I hope they don't die, as they are ready to post at how the new Halloween is homophobic for killing a gay couple. It's like they were looking for it. Like they were looking for it to happen. Fucking silly. Robert Kaz says, Mikey's a lovable koala. There is a meh koala, or koala meh. There's a meh koala emoji. I couldn't think of anything else. I was like, I want to do something. I like koalas. I have a koala right here that Irish Demon sent me, who hangs out on my screen, on my pop filter. So here he is. And I decided to make a koala meme, so you too can have a koala, or a koala emoji. He's there for the channel members. Commander Darklight says he's a stabby, less sexy version of Jessica Rabbit. That's funny. Colorado Biker, good to see you. Says, howdy y'all. Hail Satan, hail Sagan, hail Bacon. World goes, yep, that's pretty much it. That's it. I mean, what else can I say? That's all. Nimrod says, I am Catman. So Zachary Hooper says, my oldest friend is gay and married. As long as he's happy, I'm happy for him. Fucking A. Hell yes. Aaron Reese says, some people think that choosing to be openly LGBTQ means that you are choosing to be that way. Who you express yourself as is not the same as who you are. Exactly. Because there are people who are gay. They know that they're gay. They accept that they're gay, but they do not express themselves as gay. And they don't make a point of making sure everybody else around them knows it. Unless it, necessary. It's like, oh, by the way, I am gay. If there are expectations made of them, but they don't. It's not something that they go around like shouting at the rooftops, or openly engaging in pride parades, or like trying to be a part, an open part of the community, or like a vocal part of the community. And that's true. Let's see. Robert Castle says, woman boinking is hot. Boinking is hot. Boinking is hot. Penis is hot. Vagina is hot. Boobies are hot. All of it. Frank being Frank says, hello, everyone. I just got in and just heard what JL was talking about. I grew up a kid through the 90s with a gay mother. I know all too well about hate. Oh, yes. And Frank being Frank, so thank you so much for popping in. It's good to see you. Nimrod says, I am Spartacus. No, I am Spartacus. Basic Tricks is this JL trying to reach out to Mike? Oh, yeah, I already covered that one. No, it's not. Not that I actually think that I could. Yes, DL Wood. DL Wood says, meh, koala. And so, yes, there's a koala emoji. I couldn't think of another one to make. I'll come up with other ones. Once we get more members, I'll be able to add more to it. So I will eventually have more emojis. Aaron Reese says, Zach Cooper, it's more important to me that my children end up with people that are good to them than to worry about that person's gender or sexual preference. Very, very good. Very important. Trevor Lund, good to see you. Says Michael Myers was gay curious and wanted to see if they were murderable the same as strays. See, equal opportunity. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for equal representation, even in horror genres. Fantastic stuff. All right. President Starscream, good to see you. It says, I, for one, am glad to see him move from queer-coded horror villains to openly gay horror victims. Fucking A. I like it. I like it a lot. Colorado Biker says, Mike Pence is so far in the closet, he's in Narnia. It's very true. Boomer says, wait, bad guys are supposed to be bad? No way. There you go. Mr. Andret says, I have no gaydar. No, it just means your gaydar is constantly on tilt. Yes, Zachariah Hooper. I could see that as an argument. Convinced that Mike Pence is secretly gay. Yeah, I could see why you could conclude that. I'm not saying that he is. I'm just saying I can see how you can conclude that. And Basic Trig says Mike Pence and Nathan Thompson should hook up. That would be gross. That would just be gross. Oh, crazy. Oh, I think I'm jumping like to make sure I didn't miss somebody. I saw the Mexican Bob. He says, I like koalas. Good to see you, Mexican Bob. And make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Think we're good. Say colon in there. If that wire is longer enough, hang it over your shoulder. I don't think it is. Can I? Maybe I can. Does this help? Hopefully this helps. Let me know if this helps. I think I can. Yeah, I can operate this way. Fantastic. Yeah, we can operate this way. We can do this. We can do it. We can do it live. So that was the first thing that hit me. Yeah, Hail Satin. That's right. Am I right? Yes, Hail Satin. And DeLong says it's not a koala. That's a drop bear. If he was a drop bear, I think he'd be over here, waiting to drop on your head, upside down. I like this little guy. He's so cute, and his head turns, like his head swivels, like Exorcist style. Fucking love this little dude. He's fantastic. He's been hanging out with me since the beginning. All right. Okay. Frixo says, my OCD is appeased. Good to appease your OCD. Zachary says, Rodney Carrington wrote that he liked boobs. If you're a big fat man, I'm a titty fan. I like to see yours too. It was in his song, Show Them to Me. Fucking A. All right, so yes, that was the big first thing I wanted to discuss was this silliness, this fake outrage against Michael Myers, against a fictional character in a movie that, as last I checked, broke like all records at the box office for a horror film. 500 like 50 million in opening weekend. So fucking A. People have been waiting for this one. Don't shit on everybody's parade just because you just get offended by bullshit. That's fucking silly. Jack Burton says, gay couple scenes symbolize dangers of open relationships, how allowing anonymous partners into the bedroom where they both died end up in disaster. Mike's knife is a phallic symbol, isn't it? You could dissect it. You could look at it that way. I don't think it's a Michael Myers film. It's a Halloween film. And I know that Jack has just thrown it out there just to stir the pot. But no. I'm pretty sure that it's just Michael Myers stabbing folks. Michael Myers is openly Homo sapien phobic. This is true. This is true, Colin. He is openly Homo sapien phobic. Agree? Yes, Jack Burton. Yeah, we got you. Sure. Yes, a basic trick brings it up. Very interesting. Surely, if he didn't kill the gay couple, that would be homophobic. It's like Deadpool. Like, the scene with Deadpool is like, is it sexist to hit you? Is it more sexist to not hit you? I know before he shot the girl in the head. So, Frank being Frank says, I love your live stream, so candid and honest. I appreciate that. Thank you, Frank. You will always get honesty from me. I am transparent because I know no other way to be. Yes, I am an actor, but my acting is for on stage or in front of like, when I'm getting paid for it. Otherwise, I'm just me. If I'm not me, then if I'm so afraid of being who I am, then what the fuck is the point? And I hope to set an example for individuals who are constantly on the fence about that, about being yourself. People will like me, people they won't like me, people will accept me or not. It doesn't matter to me. My hope is my focus is storytelling and edutainment. I hate that. I almost hate that word, edutainment. It's fucking silly, but it's educational. It's entertaining education. It's essentially what I do. I try to educate and be funny at the same time, and also tell stories. So that's the important thing. And talk about the world. That's jumping over there. So keep that in check. Get over there. Get over there, wire. But I appreciate that, Frank, very, very much. Renee is in that. Says, boo. Yes, it is the creepiest of seasons. Oh, I'm getting my house set up for Halloween. I'm going to scare the fuck out of some trick-or-treaters. It's going to be a lot of fun. I got this badass costume. I go out there and I do like the statue thing, like or whatever, trying to make them think that I'm fake, and then they go for the giant bowl. I get like this huge cauldron, fill it full of like the good candy, And I let it sit right there, and then they go for the candy. And I go, wow, and I scare the shit. It's fucking hilarious. It's gonna be so great. Yes, unfortunately, I do not have any gaff tape to keep it back here. It's gonna keep moving. Unless I put it through my shirt, which is to be too much of a pain in the ass. If Michael Myers' knife is a phallic symbol, then imagine Jason Voorhees' machete. And he just slaps people with it. Oh, it's funny. Colorado Biker says, it's not OCD, it's CDO, compulsive disorder of obsessiveness. Needs to be in alphabetical order. Good example. Good example. Aaron Reese says, I wonder if homicidal inclusivity is a topic restricted only to horror movies. Interesting. We may have to bring that up on Week in Horror. That sounds like something I want to get the other guys' input in as well. Homicidal inclusivity. I like that. Fred Knott says, I've read that some of the Dune books skipped in this movie are filmed and will be in DVD extended. I'm very curious. I want to see it. I'm really interested in seeing the new Dune film. Frixo says, I have watched 3 versions of the story in the History Channel. In my opinion, did a great job. The new movie is great. I expected it to be a 3-parter too. Awesome. So that was the first big thing. That was the first big thing I wanted to chat about, and it was essentially, the whole outrage over Michael Myers. I found it to be absolutely silly. Want to share with y'all in case you weren't aware of it. I found it just goofy as hell. So the second thing that was on the thumbnail I wanted to bring up was obviously the film camera there, and that was the events that took place in New Mexico recently. So essentially, I don't know. I know that information is spotty. What we do know, and a friend of mine, Oli, was best friends with Hala, and it's like, and it hit her so hard because they came up together in the industry, and it just and hey, Action Squad, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. And so the events out in New Mexico on the set of Rust, on Alec Baldwin's new film, are absolutely fucking tragic. And I just, being in the industry, even in, it's been essentially, I'm not, there's a lot of people working in the industry whose names you never know. I'm kind of one of those people there. We just work and we try to make our way through. We just try to make it into a career, and that's pretty much it. But on the set of Rust, obviously we heard that there's that the director of photography, Hala Hutchins, was killed by a misfire of a prop gun that was loaded with live ammo. It was a hot weapon that was that was misfired, and struck her and struck the director, and unfortunately killed her, and she lost her life. And of course, the director was put into critical condition, and it's absolutely terrible. So the information has been spotty at best coming out because there's going to be so many attempts to control the narrative as to there's going to be Baldwin's camp, the production camp, the friends and family of Hala, the union camp. It's absolute insanity. This is a situation that should never have happened. And someone been on the set, someone having worked on set, to having handled weaponry in these situations. I've handled big guns, 357s, 44 Magnums, Glocks, rifles, shotguns. I'm familiar with these things, and for something like this to happen, you don't hear it happening. I hear about it happening often, but unfortunately, there is a history. Obviously, people remember back to the death of Brandon Lee, who was struck by shrapnel from a gun at close range, fired by actor Michael Massey, and during the filming of The Crow. And this is eerily reminiscent of that. And essentially, we don't have all the details as to what went on that set. Everybody is trying to maintain their narrative, so it's going to be very difficult, because this is one of the unfortunate things of Hollywood, and the fact that so much money is involved. It's very difficult to get everybody on the same page. It's very, very hard to try and get a clear narrative, because everybody's got to legally protect themselves and protect the production. No, I mean, there's going to be a lot of craziness, but eventually they're going to figure it out. The question, ultimately the question is, who is culpable for this particular situation? And unfortunately, normally it would be the armorer. The armorer would be the one who is culpable for the situation, because the armorer is the one who is in charge of all the weaponry, ensuring that all the weapons are cleared, ensuring that they have full knowledge of what is, when hot weapons are going out, when cold weapons are going out. And unfortunately, from what my understanding is, and this may change because I'm only working out the details that I have, is that the production was very, very low budget and they were tight for cash. And so union workers on set, when you're on set as a union, to explain this, how it works in the film industry, when you're union on set, whether you're SAG or AFTRA or Equity, or whether you're in the armorers union or whatever union, when you're on, you have set pay. There's like a set day. Once you clock in, you get paid for your day. Okay, so you go through and that's your day. And then if you go over that, there are increases in your rates automatically set by the union that the production company has to pay out regardless. So if I'm on set for 8 hours and then we go into the 9th hour, I get paid even for 15 minutes. I get paid for that 9th hour. And then that 9th hour is typically time and a half. And then there's double time and then there's triple time, which they call golden time. That's when it goes to like 15 plus hour days. And then it becomes really, really expensive to have your union people on set all day, because that's what unions are there for, to protect the workers. And unfortunately, they didn't have the money to cover the cost of having the union people on set, so the union people were sent home. And that there were people who were not union affiliated who were handling these weapons that resulted in this accident, or resulted in this negligent homicide. And it's really, really awful. One thing I have done is there are people out there making memes about it and shit, and I try to shut that down and report it where I can, because I'm in the industry and I understand it. I think it's a person lost their life, but people making fun of that shit is just not acceptable. And so I always shut that shit down when you see it, because it's just gross. But yeah, unfortunately, she's only 42. Hitchens lost her life, and it was just absolutely atrocious. I want to make sure. Hayla Hutchins, unfortunately lost her life in doing this. Let's see, I think the recent deal I have on here, in the shooting news, was reported by The Sun. So now it's come out that the gun used to fatally shoot Helena. Let me dismiss that. The gun used to shoot her was apparently being used by the crew for recreational target practice. It's just absolutely, this is a situation that should never have occurred. And there's going to be lawsuits, and there are people who are going to lose their careers over this thing. The primarily thing, and yes, Frank, sometimes hot weapons are used on set. And sometimes they're squibs, sometimes they're not. It depends upon where you're shooting and what you're shooting at. If you're shooting in an urban environment, you're most likely going to be using squibs. You're going to be using targeted squibs in order to give the appeal. You're going to be shooting with blanks, or you're going to be shooting with whatever charges they have in the gun. But sometimes real bullets have been fired on a set, and that is because that's when it's safe. Essentially, the set encompasses essentially the range, and you can fire them safely in that manner in order to get the real effect. And so, but it's rare because it's still dangerous. You're firing a weapon, and the armorers are always on point with this one. Well, unfortunately, this was a huge fuck. Yes, Blofeld is correct. This was a huge fuck up. That there, and one thing that hits me is I remember when Brandon Lee died, when it was reported he'd been killed on the set of The Crow. And it broke my heart, because I was a big fan of the IP, big fan of Brandon Lee. I liked him. And I was a Bruce Lee fan, of course. Who wasn't a Bruce Lee fan? And then you heard about that, and then of course the actor who was involved in that was Michael Massey, who was handed a hot gun that had a piece of shrapnel lodged into it that fired a blank into it, essentially fired this projectile into Brandon's stomach and killed him. And it was the effect that it had on Massey, on the actor who was handed a gun, told that it was safe to fire, and then he did this. The effect on him was catastrophic. The poor man couldn't act for like 10 years. Essentially his career, he thought his career, essentially he gave up. Like his career was gone. And years, a decade of therapy and work and him, dealing with this thing and grieving, he was finally able to come back and start working again. And he's done some stuff. He worked on Supernatural. He worked on X-Files. He worked on you see him throughout TV. He's done a lot of TV acting. He was in the movie Seven. He was the guy running the sex club, running the entrance to the sex club, who was in the little box that pissed Brad Pitt off, and he was in the interrogation room with Pitt. So yeah, and no, Robert Kessel, Brandon was not playing with a weapon. It was the scene when the bad guys break into his apartment and they shoot him at close range. Was the scene, and it was done towards the end of the movie. So Brandon had shot almost all of his footage, which is why they were able to salvage the movie. Because if this happened early on, it would have been really, really bad. But yeah, so they used effects in order to try effects and stand-ins and stunt doubles in order to finish the work. Nimrod says, going to shut eye now. JL, you've been streaming in the background. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's good night, Nimrod. Good to see you. Using a set gun for recreational shooting. Who allowed that? Yeah, this is fucked up. Lot of bad stuff going on this set. This is now okay. In a different light, despite the tragedy of this, and my heart goes out to Alec Baldwin, having to deal with the scenario that he never expected in his I think almost 40 years of his career has never dealt with something like this. That's horrible that he now has to, this is something that he's been involved in. So I feel awful that, and then of course, to her family, to Helena Hutchins and her family and director Joel Souza, who was critically injured. This is just absolutely awful and tragic. And, hopefully something will come of this. This leads into another bigger issue. Claudia Rebecca says, projectile fragmented by hitting a solid object, maybe a camera, lighting, other piece of equipment. Well, what it was in the Brandon Lee incident, you had the gun, which was a .357 Magnum, and Michael Massey was pointing it at Brandon. And unfortunately, the gun had been used in a previous scene in which a different type of cartridge had been utilized. And then a chunk of a previous cartridge was left in the barrel. And then the gun was reloaded with blanks in order for the scene, for the close-up shot when they shoot Brandon at close range. And then when he fired the blank at Brandon, basically the blank going off turned the projectile into a bullet and struck Brandon in the stomach and killed him. I think in the abdomen or chest. It was like one of them, but it struck him and killed him. And I think he died at the hospital, which was just absolutely horrible. Yeah. Now, and I can tell you this. President Starscream says, sadly, I must go appease the capitalism gods. Hope everyone has a good evening. Have a good evening, President Starscream. It was so good to see you. And Archangel 3, if I didn't say hi, good to see you. Yeah, Plothole says, I think it was his chest. I think he might have got shot in the chest. It's fucked up. But and I can tell you this. I've been on a set. One of the short films that I shot early in my career, I shot a short film where my character got shot in the throat. And so it was a fairly large gun, and they used a blank. And so the girl who fired the blank, because it was two girls who were struggling over a gun, and then I get shot, kind of like by circumstance. The gun goes off, and then it catches me in the throat, and I'm like, ah. And then they shoot me in the face in order to finish me off. It's very Pulp Fiction-y. And so, because this was like 2002 when I shot this. And so I'm down there, and so I'm in the crouch position, and I'm kind of getting up, and I'm kind of like staggering to my feet. The gun goes off, and I'm like, like this. I can tell you this right now. I was about 15 feet away when they fired that gun in my general direction. And I could feel the peppering off of that thing. Now, I wasn't harmed, but I could feel the peppering off of that shot. So I was like, wow. And I could feel like, the concussion was one thing. The concussive force was one thing, but I felt my skin get peppered. And I was like, woo. But luckily, it wasn't so extreme that I broke character. It was like I wasn't expecting that. And then I, then I do my little stunt, on my back. I'm like, boom, I get blown off, and fall on my back, and then there's fucking, fake blood everywhere and everything. And luckily, there was no problems there. But I have felt that, and that was a blank that was fired, and I could feel what comes out of that gun when that happens. Sometimes that's fucking wild. So, yeah, Color Biker says even the gas pressure at close range can cause injury. So it was crazy. And so, I mean, I've just that situation alone, was so early in my career, having experienced that was pretty wild. So, leading into the other part of this, the indie industry. Independent film is very, very important. One, it allows the opportunity for major productions to find talent, and it allows for people to make films who otherwise couldn't when, the studios usually wrest control of pretty much everything. And independent film is wildly important for the industry. We have to have independent film. It cannot all be studio controlled. The problem is that when you get in the industry, in the Hollywood industry, you get what you pay for. And we recognize this very much. So this is a huge thing that Eugene is always on about, is that you get what you pay for. If you pay for this is what you're going to get. You pay for shit, you're going to get shit. So we always try to pay to get the best when we need the best. And then we kind of like, ease up the money, ease up on the money to where you don't need to spend it. Many hangmans, I would love to imagine jail being an absolute weapon at the range. I'm pretty damn good with a handgun. It doesn't matter what the handgun is. I'm pretty damn good with it. My hand-eye coordination is pretty solid. I've outshot Marines, and I know that sounds weird, but God, this is a kind of a rabbit trail. Well, essentially, what I'm trying to say, I'll jump to that one in a sec. What I'm basically saying is that the independent industry needs more oversight, but the problem is oversight costs money, and they just don't have that kind of money. When you're operating on shoestring budgets of $1 million or less, which is, seriously, it's considered a shoestring. When you're operating on $1 million or less, you just can't spend that kind of, you just don't have the money to spend. And corners get cut. This also comes from a lack of planning and a lack of preparation and a lack of expertise, taking off more than you can, biting off more than you can chew. This all is a recipe for disaster, especially when weapons are involved. I remember that the guy that I worked with on the short film where I had to use a gun, and I was with 3 other guys, and we executed this big execution scene where we shoot him in the face. I remember that the guy said the most expensive part of that production was the armor, because he wanted to ensure that we have serious weapons, and he wanted to make sure that they were handled safely. So he hired a professional armorer who came out, and man, that guy was on fucking point. So that was what was important. So Colin just sent me a message. What is it? So says, in other news, just been reported that Friends Gunther passed away. James Michael Taylor passed away at age 59. That's sad. Gunther, who always loved Rachel. Oh, Yakko Hoopy. Look at that pupper do. That's a good looking dog. I like getting pet pictures. They're awesome. So that's a shame. Gunther and his unrequited love for Rachel. That's a shame. Gunther passed away. Well, here's to you, Gunther, wherever you may be. I don't have any coffee, so we'll just drink this. But yes. So out shooting a Marine. So I mean let me see. For instance, what was the movie? It was a short film. It was just a short film that was that never saw like like any kind of major release. It was just one of the short films I did when I was a student and I was still in film school. Robert Castle said, "Who was Gunther?" Gunther, the coffee shop guy, the guy who ran the coffee shop in Friends. He was the guy. He was the unrequited love. He held held the flame for Rachel, but Rachel never recognized him. So, but yeah, Gunther was the guy who was in love with Rachel. So Archangel 3 says USMC vet here. Okay, awesome. Yes. So I used to work for a long time ago. This was when was this? It was like 2001 or 2000. I think this was 2000. No. Yeah, actually this may have been 2000, 2001. I think it was 21 years old. and I was a manager for a LAN center. And so the LAN center was called GameWise. It no longer exists anymore. It closed down, a long, long time ago. I think it closed down in like 2006. Back in Texas, and I used to work for this LAN center. And one day, the Marines came in as part of a recruiting method, and they did this simulator thing, and they had an M4 and they had a 9, and that you could utilize part of the simulation thing. And the simulator thing was essentially like a shooting simulator where you're going through essentially hitting taking on an insurgent compound, and there is daylight and then underground night vision, and then you go through there's targets going on, then there's hostage situations, stuff like that, and essentially you're reacting to the situation. So you can do it in a team, you can work in a team where you can adjust there, or you can go single. And the objectives were to eliminate as many targets as you can with as few shots as you can. And it scores you based upon the number of times you have to reload and how many shots it takes you to drop each insurgent. And of course, if you accidentally injured any of the hostages. So we go in and they're doing the whole thing, and these guys are pretty badass. Now, I will tell you this. I am shit with an M4. I'm just crap. I'm crap with an M4. But I'm damn fucking good with a handgun. And every one of the guys on that team, there was a staff sergeant and I think a corporal and a private were out there running the thing. If I remember correctly, this was a long time ago. And I smoked them all. Speed, accuracy, precision, movement through it, because you can adjust as you're moving through. And with the M4, I was terrible, because I never fired one before. So the feel of it was very, very strange. And so I had to adjust to it. But I was very familiar with a handgun. And I was able to end cats, pretty precision. And I mean, I'm not going to say that being a professional gamer helped. My hand-eye coordination has always been pretty good. But, essentially it was that mentality. And I was able to just respond to the situation, I guess, better or more accurately. Place my shots better. I've always been pretty good, either center mass or going for the head. I prefer double tap method. That was my technique. I think the training is what affected, because I always went double. I shot double tap and they went triple. So other than that, I was pretty damn good, and I've maintained my accuracy pretty solidly through the years. I don't often get to go now because I've been so busy. And of course, I actually, to be perfectly honest, I prefer knives. Blades are kind of my thing. I really like blades. Guns are useful. They're a good, useful tool in occasion, especially hunting. Obviously, with although bow and arrows, I really, really like those. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what you're gonna do. But yeah. So, it was a lot of fun, and it was a long time ago. God, it was so long ago. But yeah, I'm pretty solid with it. I mean, like I said, I'm not big on guns. I'm not a huge fan. I really more prefer knives. There's just something primal, something visceral about them. Something about the way they kind of catch the light in that respect. I just dig knives. Big blades, small blades, whatever. Something about them. Let me see. Mr. Andred said, "I'm Canadian, great with a long gun. Probably shoot myself with a handgun." Oh, yeah. Aaron Reese said, the one shot, one kill. That is the Sniper Creed. Not as good with carbines and pistols. I think it was three. It was they fired 3-shot burst. So it was like boom, boom, boom. Katanas. I'm a big, I like swords too. I like swords. My favorite is the Bowie knife. It's the most useful tool that I think someone can have, especially when they're out and about in the woods. It's a large enough knife to do a lot of damage if you need to defend yourself with it, but it's also a fantastic just tool in general for jail, getting all stabby Stabberson, pretty much. But the Bowie knife is just an excellent all-around tool just for being out and about in nature. You can use it not only to defend yourself and not only for hunting, but you can also, you can skin an animal with it. You can pretty much carve bark off of a tree in order to get what I mean. It's just a the Bowie knife is just a magnificent knife. And then, of course, the tactical hunting knives After that, if you want to go like the Rambo knife, or if you want to go for like the serrated edge, but I really, really enjoy the Bowie knife. It's one of my faves. And I do like bow and arrows. I really do. Tony Regine says, I like bows. I have a 40-pound draw bow and a 21-pound draw. Very cool. Very nice. I've enjoyed being an Eagle Scout. I have enjoyed making my own bow and arrow and learning how to do that and learning how to make flint-tipped arrows in order to make your own shit in case you're out there in the middle of nowhere and you need to make your own means of hunting something. So that's always a lot of fun. All kinds of cool stuff that I learned because I got lucky in my scouting career. Getting up to be an Eagle Scout. My scoutmaster was a former Army Ranger, 26 years in, and retired, and became a scoutmaster for his sons. His sons were in there, Scoutmaster Wolf, and he came in, and so my Boy Scout experience was a little unorthodox. We spent a lot of time on Fort Hood, and so I got to do things that a lot of Boy Scouts don't get to do, and learned a lot of things about being outside and having, being self-sufficient in nature, self-sufficient out in the wild when you've got nothing else but the clothes on your back and how to deal with things. So, yeah. Manny Handman says, yo, who you bringing to an island, JL or Bear Grylls? Take Bear. Take Bear Grylls. You'd probably be better with Bear Grylls. I mean, I'm functional. I am. I just, I would say take Bear Grylls. Robert Kess says the modified sniper program only accepted medics allegedly. This is true. That crazy modified sniper program. What are we going to do? Speaking of bows and katanas, Michonne and Daryl Dixon are badass. Yes, they are. Oh, Archangel says I was a life scout. And my troop master was a Marine. Badass. Very cool. Yes, I made my Eagle. I got my Eagle in 1998. As a matter of fact, all my scout shit is like over there in the closet. Like my Eagle badges, all my merit badges and everything, and my Eagle medallions and my old uniform is still up in there. So I got all kinds of cool stuff in there. Manny Hangman says, make a video of you at the range shooting a cross with an M249. If there's maybe I should do a video of me at the range. That'd be kind of cool. Basic Trish says, nah, Bear Grylls will eat you. Bear Grylls will eat anything. Aaron says, Jail, I don't know. You look like better eating the Bear Grylls. I'm well marbled. Let's just say that. No, I'm actually losing some weight. I have to lose some weight. I've let myself go, and I've got to trim down. So I'm a little too bare. We'll say that, a little too bare. So, so this incident in New Mexico is absolutely fucking insane. Oh, Thor Rasmussen says, I'm out, got an empty trailer that needs to be hauled to Hamburg for loading. I'll be back if I can connect to the internet in the truck. May you all be well and safe. Be safe, Thor Rasmussen. Thank you so much for popping in, and thank you so much for being a member of the Godless Army. I do appreciate it. You be safe out there, and we'll catch you on the next one. Frixo says, Ray Mears was far better than Bear Grylls. Well, and still, I mean, I can handle myself pretty well out in the world. I mean, there's a reality show that I wanted to be. If there was a reality show that I was going to be on, it would be that one called Alone, where these guys, they drop these people off in, like, I think it's the Arctic, and you pretty much survive. You're given a list of items that you can take 10 items from, and then you can use those 10 items to try and survive. Whoever survives the longest is the one who wins. Basically, last man standing, and that would be a lot of fun. I know how to stay safe. I know how to. Oh yeah, Order of the Arrow. I'm Brotherhood as well. So the Natisihi Lodge, very cool. Number 71, very cool. Yep. I'm assuming because you got to be. I think you got to be like 60 years to get Vigil, but or 60 years, or maybe you have to be 60 years of age to get to Vigil. But but I'm Brotherhood as well. So Bear Grylls says Bear Grylls over Les Stroud. I would totally want Bear with me if I was stranded. Yeah, Bear's a good choice. Let's see. Heyman says, I have the advantage of saving calories when going downhill by simply rolling down like a ball. Like a fucking panda. Whoa. Crazy. I've said the F word too many times. I'm going to get demonetized. So yeah, wanted to talk about that one. And let's see, it's been an hour and 21 minutes we've been going. Steaming Cup of Reason says, jail, Bear Grylls, the desert flirt, searching for truth and drinking his piss out of his snake skin. You do what you got to do, man. That's what you do. After discussing that and essentially, and I'll be following that story, as best I can. I want to know what's going to happen with that. And hopefully there will be some big changes in the industry as a result of this. So we will find out. But it's absolutely tragic. My heart goes out to Hayla Hutchins and her family. Helena Hutchins and her family, to Alec Baldwin, to Joel Souza, everybody out there. I wish them all the best, and in this really, really terrible time. So, we will also be dedicating the next episode of Week in Horror to her memory. And I might as well. I'm live right now, so I'm just going to pop it out right now. For those who are interested, the American Film Institute, the AFI, has set up a scholarship fund in Helena's name for female cinematographers. And you can check out that information. Just Google AFI. I think it's AFI Helena, and it's HALYNA. You can Google that, and you can get information on that. But we are definitely going to make. We're definitely going to put notification. Put notice out there. We're going to mention that to everybody on the next episode of Week in Horror. And we're dedicating the next episode of Week in Horror to her memory, and because a bright light gone too soon. You're just a tragedy. H. Jasper says, good evening, all. Good to see you, H. Jasper. Also a member of the Godless Army. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Good to see you. The last thing I wanted to talk about, because, and I will lament again, I can't find another theist to come on the show. And I would love to. I know that's predominantly where my wheelhouse is engaging with theists. And I don't get a lot of them who say they want to come on the show, they're not ready to come on the show, or they come up with, or something comes up. And apparently MC Toon and Fight the Flat Earth, and these guys can find flat earthers just like crawling out of the woodwork, like termites. I can't find theists who will come on. I can't. I don't know why. Supposedly, I have a debate coming up with Effed Up World. Oh, yes. So Plato says, that's my fault. I have one ready for you. So I'm assuming Effed Up World, I'm going to be having this debate with Effed Up World here pretty soon. I still am not 100% sure of what the debate's going to be about, but it'll be a debate between me and him, and I guess we'll discuss, whatever. Whether the existence of God or the validity of the Bible or the historicity of the Bible, or, I don't know. I'm just hoping it doesn't turn into another science lesson like it does against people like Otangelo. Essentially their incredulity and their ignorance of basic science. I was talking to one guy the other day on Discord, and I almost had him on the show. I almost had him on the channel. I almost brought him on, but it would have turned into an absolute shit show. I found out I got lucky, and I found out after the fact it would have turned into a giant fucking shit show had I brought him on. It would have been bad. And Tyler West says my beard intimidates them. Maybe. But I was talking to one cat, and he was he wanted to discuss the finer points of quantum electrodynamics, and he didn't understand E equals MC squared. He did because he said matter is not, he's like, matter is not energy. And we're like, what? And he was like, matter isn't energy. And I'm like, what? So, and he wanted to talk cosmology and what came before the Planck epoch and mathematical models, presenting what potentially occurs before that. The mathematical extrapolation of the singularity. And I'm kind of like, wait a second, you don't even understand the basic principle that matter is simply, energy in another form. And I was running into shit like that. And I hope it doesn't turn into another science, debacle. And of course, cosmetology. Yes, it's all about hair. Mexican Bob says, I'm a fat earther. Want to debate? What are we going to debate? Who makes the best enchiladas? My wife does. Although I think Johnny might disagree. I think Johnny might say Mama Tega makes the best ones. So I don't know. My wife's enchiladas are pretty fucking amazing. I swear, I gotta stop cussing. I really do. I'm gonna have that little yellow money sign by my video. He's like, we have to limit the monetization because you are salty as hell. So Mr. Anderson says, Les only used other to help to record on occasion because I heard he never left a location, though. It may be a conversation that I'm not aware of. Oh, makes best enchiladas. Johnny says, me. I don't know. My wife's are pretty amazing. Aaron Reed says, I'm pagan, but I'm not debating anyone. When you force your religion on others, you failed the cause of spirituality altogether. Very good. Ooh, Commander Darkblade says, debate Twinkies or snowballs. That's difficult. Because I really love coconut, but Twinkies are classic. See, I like them both. That's the problem. Max Bob says, Frank being Frank, 100% fat. That's hilarious. Many Hangman says, tase yourself when you swear. Yes, I could. I guess I could. I guess I could negative reinforce myself into not swearing so much, is tase myself. Archangel says, Twinkies. There you go. Archangel has spoken. Plottle says Zombieland. Yeah, that's a throw. That's a vote for the Twinkies. And Robert Caslow says, debate Nathan Thompson's quality of character. His quality of kid is non-existent. I'm so glad he's gone. I'm so glad he's so irrelevant that he's just we're just done with them. It's fantastic. Frixo says, never had a Twinkie. What are they? What are they? They are Los Submarinos, is what they are. Anybody in the South understands that. Yes, Los Submarinos. And what are the other ones? The others like Los Pingüinos. I love the Mexican pastries, the different names they have for they're basically ripoffs of the Hostess stuff. JL says you debated over chips or crisps. How about cookies versus biscuits? I haven't been in any of those debates. And Broman Legion, what's up? Good to see you. What's up, Warren? Good to see you. Jack Burton says zingers are better. Twinkies with frosting, automatic win. He's got a point. He does. He has a point there. And I see that Frixus says, I like snowballs, but I don't like the coconut on them. That's the point of the snowball, though. I like white snowballs, not pink snowballs, which is weird. But I really like white snowballs. I'm a fan of coconut. I like coconut. Let me see. Inquisitor Bacon, good to see you, Inquisitor Bacon. He says, just watch Zombieland. You'll learn about the greatest of Twinkies. Mm-hmm. Did you know that they had to custom make a vegan Twinkie for him because Woody Harrelson is vegan and he can't eat a normal Twinkie because it has bone meal in it. So they needed to custom make a fake Twinkie for him so he could actually eat it in the final scene. Interesting stuff. Commander Dark Knight says, where's the spoon? I'd rather taste the soup. Where's the spoon? What's the matter? Is the soup too hot? No, just taste the soup. What's the matter? Is it too cold? I fucking love that scene. It's great. Oh, Basic Tricks is coconut. That's funny. Inquisitor Bacon says, hey, JL, and that is some amazing info about Zombieland. It's some cool stuff about that. How they had to make him that Twinkie that Abigail Breslin throws him at the end, and he's like, oh, this is fantastic. Not a real Twinkie. Vegan thing that they kind of like conglomerated to make it look like a Twinkie, but something that he could eat because he's really big on health. I think he's vegan and he's like all organic, non-GMO. He's hardcore about that stuff. So they had to do him something up so he could be there. But those were real snowballs that they were smashing in the truck. There was all legit snowballs that he was just crushing all over the place, which is a lot of fun. I'm not sure who was it who went against Demon over Chips versus Chris. So I'm not sure who was that. Who was in that? Yeah, Stephen Caparese, a Tofinky. Ooh, Samoas. Robert Caslow is right. Samoa's the bomb. Oh, dude, my wife makes a Samoa cake, like a bunt cake. It's a Samoa. It's fucking amazing. It's incredible. MC Toon went up against him. Let me see here. So my wife made a Samoa cake. A Samoa bunt cake, which essentially she made this. No, get off there. Stupid thing. My wife made this. Let me. I got too many tabs open. I'm doing that high IQ research. Share screen, window, Chrome tab. There we go. And my wife made this one time. Does that not look good? Fucking A. But yeah, my wife made one of those once. Good stuff. Look at that bad boy. That's tasty, tasty. So yes, Samoa Bunt Cake. Very good stuff. Yes, Broman Legion. We were just talking about the Alec Baldwin accidental shooting that we did. What was I did? Let's see. I don't think I can ever become a vegan or a veggie. My very dear friend Gerard is Hare Krishna. He is always trying to convert me nicely, though. Yeah. Faux Hammer. It was Faux Hammer. It was Faux Hammer who was up against him. Faux Hammer versus Irish Demon. Chips versus Crisps. All right. And Mr. Anderson says hot Jamaican patties. Fructose says, jail, my favorite dessert and nothing beats it for me is caramel and toffee cheesecake. Ooh, good stuff. You know, I got a kind of a soft spot in my heart for tiramisu. I really do. I like a good tiramisu. But that friggin' Samoa Bunt Cake, that was amazing. Robert Hensel, is it made out of Samoas? She made the Bunt Cake itself, and then it essentially covered it. It's in the toasted coconut, and the flavors are all there. Is part of that recipe. So it legitimately tastes like a friggin' Samoa. Manny Hangman says, real quick, what are your music tastes? Music tastes. It's pretty much anything but country western. I'm really just really eclectic. It really depends upon my mood, really. But I'll listen to pretty much everything except for like straight up country western music. Except but not even some of that, because I like Merle Haggard. I like David Allan Coe. I like some Brooks and Dunn. There's some stuff that I like. You could consider some of that bluegrass, but like I guess commercial country western, not a fan. Just not a fan of it. But like everything from metal. There's metal that I love. Metal that I love. There's pop that I love. There's some songs that are just catchy and I fucking love them. I have to like Miley Cyrus's Party in the USA is pretty fucking catchy. What else? There was a Justin Bieber song that the fucking Despacito. That's catchy as hell. I love a catchy beat. I love a lot of electro. Love a lot of techno. A lot of EDM. There's a lot of instrumental. I would say what was it? A lot of classical music that I love. I love Bach. I love Mozart. I love Beethoven. I love all of the greats. So what are you gonna do? I'm really eclectic. It just really depends upon my mood, and it depends upon like if I'm writing or not. If I'm writing, I typically listen to a lot of atmospheric stuff, some low EDM, things that really conjure up emotions, that really draw up the emotions, so I can draw off that energy and I can write. So, but yeah, I'm pretty eclectic when it comes to it. Just like some of the pop stars out there have really. Tove Lo is a favorite of mine. I love her. That's one of the few perfect albums I've ever heard. Tove Lo's first album was fantastic. And Stained Chapter 5 is it's another perfect album that I love every single one of them on. So yeah, but I'm pretty across the board, pretty eclectic when it comes to the music that I enjoy. Let me see. The last thing I was going to do before, because I do have a breakdown that I have to do with the guys for the next episode of Week in Horror going on. But I was going to give kind of like a sneak peek into what we're going to be talking about on my next created video. My next created video is going to be basically no multi-derp derp. No, fuck that. Tool, yes. Maynard is God. Maynard is God now because Lemmy is gone. Because Lemmy is gone. So, Maynard has become God. And Johnny is going to kill me for that. So he's going to give me all kinds of shit for saying that Maynard James Keenan is God. But he is. Maynard is God. But only because Lemmy is passed. So the rule, I mean, it passes down from from person from rock god to rock god. At one point, it was David Bowie. At one point, it was Elvis Presley. So it passes on. Maynard James Keenan, current god. So the kind of had the kind of like the sneak peek what I was going to talk about, and that was the snake that was in the thumbnail is a snake oil salesman. Legitimately, probably the next oldest con to religion in and of itself is snake oil, is cures for that which ails you. And they've been around for a long, long time. Patent medicines have been around since the 1700s in England, and they were a little bit faster in trying to clamp down on that confidence scheme than they were here in America. To the first act to try and curtail that kind of shit was the 1906 Food and Pure Food and Drug Act. And that didn't get passed till 1906. And there was like almost over 100 years of just shenanigans here in America regarding patent medicines, especially in the somewhat lawless Old West. The classic where you hear it from. But there's a history to snake oil salesmen. I had to dive into this where I thought it was a lot of fun. Woo cures. Yes, Robert Caslow, woo cures. And the kind of shit that gets peddled today. And we're going to take a big look at all of that in the next video, my next creative video. We're going to the history of snake oil, like where the terminology comes from, how it got adapted by essentially the American con man, who the greatest of those con men were. And then we'll look at the history. And then, of course, snake oil, it's otherwise known as homeopathy, which is essentially just water. And then, in essence, we're going to look at it. And then we're going to find out, because the reason I decided to do this was it leads into more stuff about Kent Hovind. And an interesting little facts as part of the investigation, because a part of Johnny's investigation, eventually kind of, doing the work on that, it started getting, because we keep talking about how the investigation into Kent Hovind ballooned into shit that was just well out of control. And we started looking into Johnny started looking into one thing, but then we realized that there were other weird things all around it. And then, so this eventually kind of, embroiled my wife and myself, digging even further into these other things that are tertiarily connected to Kent. And we uncovered, I don't even know what word you could use. Johnny, if you're listening, you can help me out. What word we could use to describe what we have uncovered regarding Kent Hovind and all the shit going on over in Alabama and in Florida. It's fucking crazy. Now, I'm not going to, we're literally still sifting through evidence and trying to understand things and how everything is connected. Because essentially right now we have a lot of nexus points, and we don't know how those nexus points all connect to one another to create the entire web. It is a cesspit. Cesspit is good. A Kent Hovind shitstorm. You could say that. Yes, a turd pile. I like that one, Robert Caslow. Muddy water. Gray water. If you want to go like from the movie It. You want to go from that. Yeah, gray water. Action Squad. And good to see you, Action Squad, if I didn't say hi to you. Good to see you, Action Squad. Thank you for joining. Aaron Reese, you are right. Kent Hovind will do anything he can from power and money. Yeah, that's what he wants. That's what he's going after. Because in Kent's mind, life ain't nothing but bitches and money. The twisted thing is that this goes well beyond him. This goes into his family. This goes into people outside of him. This goes into business decisions, business arrangements. This goes into LLCs and DBAs and all kinds of shell companies and all kinds of shit. This shit, in some respects, goes international, and it's absolutely wild. So we're still piecing together how it all fits together, because the big question is, where does the money flow? Where does it all flow to? But where does it go from point A to point B? Essentially, what we're diving into, you really need a forensic accountant to understand where all of this is going, because we're pretty much doing it ourselves. And you got to go with what, and understanding banking and understanding taxes and understanding where you can make the most of your money, depending upon what you're doing with it, however you're moving it, is really, really important. And my wife has a very strong understanding of that. It's like, why would you do this? Why would you do that? You can benefit off of this. But then again, this is also taking place in the state of Alabama and in the state of Florida and in the state of Nevada and in Massachusetts. So there's a lot of variability here depending upon the states that they're in, which makes it very, very complicated. And so we've been looking into, yes, we need the account. We need Ben Affleck. This is very true. Thank you, Basic Trade. It is absolutely nuts. Archangel 3 says, I'm an accountant. I'm very curious. Message me, Archangel 3. You can hit me up on Discord or hit me up at weekinhorror@gmail.com or just message me, wherever. Get in touch with me. Send me an email. I'm really curious. We'd like to run this by you because it's very, very complicated. But I don't want to spoil too much because I will be touching on this in the next video that I do and why it's fucking weird just by looking at it with the asset name play involved is concerning considering Johnny's expose into child predation going on here. This is bad stuff. And it may just even be the tip of the iceberg in what could very well be a massive criminal conspiracy. We don't know. We're still putting the pieces together. Maybe we could be totally wrong. And maybe just what Johnny hit on is the one thing, and maybe what I'm looking at is just really convoluted ways of doing whatever they do, but it could all be above board. It could be legit. But knowing the man, 10 years in the federal prison for tax evasion and tax fraud, knowing the man, it's probably not. It stinks. We'll say that. It will say it smells. Tyler West says, go to Cindy Lincoln's YouTube site to find out who Ken Hovind really is. No doubt. No doubt about that. Yes, Mr. Anderson says, more financial fraud or worse. I'm thinking it's probably worse. Tim Boldman said, Tim Boldman, good to see you. Thanks for joining. He says, isn't Ken Hovind part of that freedom weirdo cult that rejects getting a driver's license? He is kind of a soft set. He, in his mind, all of his assets belong to God, so he shouldn't have to pay taxes on any of them. Who knew? Frank says, I live near where Ken Ham does his evangelism. I helped build a housing community right next to his church in Southeast Columbus, Ohio. That guy is a piece of shit too. He is. Ken Ham is a piece of shit. Absolutely is. Stephen Caparese says, I have a feeling there is some real shit to be found on Matt Powell and all this. What a creep he is. Oh yeah. Birds of a feather will flock together. Like attracts like. These mentalities band together because alone they serve no purpose and they will have no effect because people will just ignore them. They banded together in groups because there is power in numbers. Is it? Oh, sounded like him. Numbers. There's power in numbers as we're trying to spread our evangelism. That's probably terrible. I think Irish does a better one than I do. I don't listen to him enough to really do an impression of Ken Hovind. Water. There's some words that I know when I want to speak Hovind. But it's ridiculous. It's absolutely crazy. And you look at it just on its face, it just stinks. It's like, this is not, how are they getting away with this? Yeah, did anyone realize there's a pond with a boat on that might be body? I'm not sure it was like this, but I did hear about the drowning incident on the Dinosaur Adventureland property. Frank says, I don't want to say Matt Powell has a secret photo studio, but he has a secret photo studio. Frixa says, I am majorly creeped out by Hovind's recent friend choices and by the ass himself. Yes, he's a creeper as shit. That recording of him beating up his spiritual wife or whatever is just fucking that. I don't want to go in that direction. It's probably like, how people, should be dealt with, but he himself is just he's just a creepy, cringe asshole. Yes, Clive Wells, Aaron Ra's series on lies in the textbook. Great stuff. Excellent stuff. Aaron Reese says, do I have anyone looking into the real estate holdings? We are currently looking into those because my wife understands that area, that market. So she is looking into the real estate holdings. It is very, very suspect though. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and Frixos, you are correct. It was awful to listen to. That was just fucking. You know what I'm saying? I can't be too overt with that because YouTube will be like, "Yeah, you're inciting and being violent and mean," like they did to Irish Demon. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. We're going to take a look at snake oil, the history of it, the big, how these things took off, and then of course, how it applies today and how it applies to Kent Hovind. It's going to be crazy. Many Hangman says, when will this stream end? Well, I didn't know I was going too long for you. Yeah, I'm fine with you. I'm just playing. Robert Caslow says, will you contact the authorities after all the information is collated? Once we've gotten everything that we can, absolutely. I would love, I want to, the authorities need to be involved in this, especially if there is child endangerment going on. That's number one. If there are children being endangered at DAL, the authorities need to be involved. If it takes looking at the finances, because this is what's really, really fucked up. Sometimes the truth of the matter is sometimes you got to hit them in the wallet to get their attention. And, the IRS will, if they think that somebody's cheating them, especially a previous tax fraud, they want them bad. So if that's what's going on with Kent Hovind and DAL and all the stuff that's going on, if that's what's happening, they'll eat him alive because he'd be a second-time offender. And I'm really curious. Yes, if there is something to go on, then we will definitely contact the authorities. Ryan Anand says, if your stream lasts more than 4 hours, contact your doctor. 1.22K hour stream, 1 hour free subscriber. That's fucking crazy. Yeah, so yeah, we will see. We will definitely see what happens when it comes to what's going on with Kent Hovind. But I will be dropping my new video here in this upcoming week, and it's going to be interesting stuff. So, but yes, Archangel, message me if I believe as Archangel said that they are an accountant. Message me or message Johnny O. One of us. Love to get your take and just kind of post some stuff. Just say send some information your way. See if this stuff is above what we don't think it is. But you probably have better insight than we do because you are an accountant. Because a forensic accountant is really what is needed to dive into this shit and see where it's really going. Tim Boldman says the government only gets involved when taxes don't get paid. They don't give fraud and child abuse the same level of resources. Exactly. Hit them in their wallet. It's like in the movie Kill Bill. Fucking with your cash is all you kids seem to understand. That's what it is. And unfortunately, that's what it takes. You hit them in the wallet, you will get their attention. It's kind of like, in rape prevention, they teach don't yell help. Nobody responds to help. Yell fire. Nobody responds to help, but you yell fire. People hear fire, they come running. And as Brad Pitt said in response to that in the movie Seven, that's fucked up. So yes, thank you, Archangel. Shoot me that email, and we will figure that out. We figure out we can get you what we can get your eyes on, so you can start getting your opinion on this. But that was the three topics that I wanted to kind of bring up and talk about. Aaron Reed says Vira antivirus blocks Dow's webpage due to privacy concerns. Interesting. Okay. So and yes, Robert Caslow. Al Capone, tax evasion. That's how you do it. It's always the money. The money's got to go somewhere, and it's the easiest to track. So sometimes it's complex, but these guys, they know what they're doing, and they're going to get you on the money. They're going to get you on the money. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are the topics that I wanted to chat about today. I didn't have a theist that was able to make it on, so I could chat with them, and because I like doing that at the beginning if possible. But I apparently will have a debate coming up thanks to Johnny O. I will have a debate coming up, and we will see what happens there. I think it's going to be against Effed Up World, or maybe not. I don't know. So I'll get more details on that. Apparently, I'm just going into a situation I have no idea about. Sean Alexander, greetings. Right here at the end of the stream. I appreciate you popping by, Sean Alexander. Thank you for being a member of the Godless Army and your support, dude. It's good to see you. And yes, and all softs, Archangel, and all softs, it's talking about RICO cases. Yep. And this goes across state lines, Archangel. I'll tell you that. There's interstate stuff here going on. Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Nevada, Massachusetts. Yeah, it's interesting shit. Manny Hangman says, if you don't mind if send you my favorite song that I can play on loop, don't you? Nah, you don't mind, not at all. Frixa, oh yeah, what are RICO cases? RICO cases. Yeah, you can explain it to him, and because I just see Aaron Reese became a member of the Godless Army. Thank you so much, Aaron Reese. I do appreciate that. Thank you for your support. You now have access. You now have your atheist scientist badge, and you have access to all of the emojis that I have created for you. As a matter of fact, I think with Aaron Reese, we just got into a new tier. So I think I can make you more emojis. I think I can make you another emoji. Suggestions for emojis are welcome. Please, you can throw them in the comments below, or you can throw them in the live chat. But suggestions for emojis are always welcome. That's how we got the Dr. Peel emoji. So yes, but thank you very much. I appreciate that, Aaron Reese. It's a pleasure to have you member of the Godless Army, and I will keep pumping out the content for you with your support. I do appreciate that. Big time. Let me see. Rico, wouldn't Rico apply to Hovind? Possibly. Felonies across state lines, you know. It's hard. It's hard to say. I'll tell you this. It's very, very convoluted. You know, real business, legitimate business is not this convoluted. So, anti-Hovind emoji. Yeah. Hovind behind bars? Hovind behind bars? Or Hovind with a no sign? Let me know. Let me know which one do you think. Tim Bolton says, if your church provides a house, car, baby Learjet, there isn't much they will do. This is true. All right. So I think that is about, yes, and Clyde Wells is right. Angelo, if you're out there, you blew it. You should have turned up. Yeah, I don't know if he's lurking or not, but he never did show up. I think he's still mad at me. He's still mad at us because we called him out on his lies and we trapped him in a lie. We exposed his lies. And he's like, because he's a fucking liar. That's what he is. Hovind behind bars. Done. You got it. Next one I'm making. All right. Well, I think that is about where I will wrap it up for today. So I want to give a huge, giant shout out to all of my amazing channel members. I could not do this without your support. You guys are, all of you, every single one of you are absolutely amazing. I appreciate it so much. All of the super chats, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Your guys' help, your guys' support helps me make this channel and helps, not only here, but over at Week in Horror as well. So I thank you all so much for all of that. You guys are amazing. I getting weepy. I couldn't do it without you. So what is coming up on this? So real quick, on this particular channel, on my channel, Bridge the Divide, you will be getting a new created content video this upcoming week, which it basically goes over snake oil. I really appreciate the response you guys gave to the Van Til takedown. That is like my best performing video so far right now. It hasn't overtaken the Darth Dawkins video, but it is performing very, very well. So thank you very, very much. I'm glad that y'all enjoyed the Van Til takedown video. I'll be releasing the snake oil video next, so I hope y'all enjoy that one. And then, of course, trying to maintain the live streams here and, of course, the shorts that you love so much. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Manny Hangman. I will check that out. Frixa says probably went too far with that last one. Mike Myers with a knife for Hovind. Yeah, that's funny. So it's okay, Sean. I appreciate you coming out. He says, I wish I could have been here at the beginning. It's all good. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, Archangel, as well. Oh, and over on Week in Horror. So check out our new episode of Week in Horror. This will be the last episode for the month of October before we go into Halloween. I definitely look forward to showing everybody the Halloween setup here at the house and how I'm going to be scaring the kitties while they come along. And hopefully they won't take all my candy because I want some for myself. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. But we got cool stuff coming on over Week in Horror as we go into the month of Thanksgiving, as we get into the winter months. We get into some fun horror times. It's going to be a lot of cool stuff that we're going to talk about. Really cool guests coming onto the show. It's going to be so much fun. So look for new stuff on Week in Horror. And then, of course, look for new stuff here on this channel as well. Thank you so much to all the patrons over at Week in Horror. Thank you so much to all the channel members here on Bridge the Divide. I appreciate it. I could not do this without your support. You guys are amazing. Thank you to every single person who came out in the live chat. I hope I said hi to all of you. If I missed somebody, I'm really, really sorry. I try to catch everyone. And that's kind of a flaw with me. If there was, like, I think somebody said if there was 1,000 people in the chat, I'd probably say hi to everybody if I could. No, it's all good, Mr. Andrat. You know, we talk about what we talk about. And Frank says, thanks for another great stream. Thank you, Frank, for coming out. Says, I hope to work with you someday. I'd love to join on Week in Horror. Never know one day. Fucking fantastic. Thank you so much, Aaron Reese. It's always a good time in your streams. Take it easy. And take it easy, sir. I hope you are well. So look forward to seeing you all at the next created content, and the next live stream over a Week in Horror on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Time. And I'm rambling at this point, so I will just sign out. Thank you all so much once again. Be safe. Be excellent to each other. And together, we can bridge the divide.